final segment that I have for you guys today. I have 10 questions. I'm putting 15 seconds on the clock for each of you. We're going to go through these 10 questions. They are all specific to your current opinions of Tom Izzo. Some of these might be a little harsh, but I think they're questions that need to be asked. And I'm just going to jump right into them. We'll go 1 through 10 here. Number 1, do you believe, actually, number 1, what percent of those Tom Izzo quotes do you believe? Cart, you go first. Let's go Cart first, DK second for all of these.
87%.
So he's not lying.
No, I think he's actually being pretty truthful about how he actually feels. Whether it's right or wrong, I think that he's damn near being very truthful, except for that Madison Sissoko quote.
That's what I was going to say, too. Lie. That's the only one. That's the only one. Everything else is telling how he feels.
That's a lie.
Wow. Okay. I guess follow-up question to that one then. Number 2, what percent of Tom Izzo is delusional? Cart, go first.
Many of the greats are delusional.
So 87% truth. What percent delusion?
Delusion is not the word. Like I don't like less than 30% delusional.
DK?
Yeah, I don't think he's delusional. I think it has more to do with stubbornness and I don't just believing in what he's done and he's created and not having to change to be successful. I think it's a lot more to do with inner belief and stubbornness than it does with delusion for him.
Number 3, and this is one I've led up to plenty of times. I refer to it as the breaking point, quote unquote breaking point. I'm asking Michigan State fans at which point they no longer want Tom Izzo to be their head coach. I've been adamant. I'll look the camera in the eyes again. The majority of this fan base is going to get there. At some point in the next 2 seasons, if Tom Izzo is still the coach and this continues on the trend line it is, you will say that I've been right all along. So I ask you to right now, do you still want Tom Izzo to be the head coach of Michigan State basketball? Carter, go first.
Right now? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But this year and the next, what happens the next 2 years for me is the line. That's it. He's got to figure it out these next 2 years. They have to exceed expectations. For me, that's you got to finish top 3 in the conference this year, got to make a second weekend at least, and you have to be building your team towards something in the next 2 years to make an actual run at a Big Ten title or a Final Four. And if you don't compile a team to be able to do that in the next 2 years, then we need to start having serious questions of when it's best for him to step down.
Number 4, do you think Tom Izzo can win a national championship in this era of the portal and NIL? Carter, your answer.
Like percentage or just straight up yes or no?
Just yes or no. Can he win a national title? Is there any way that Tom Izzo, who is currently refusing to add more than 9 players to his roster because he believes he can only keep 9 players happy, can win a national championship in this era?
Yes.
You're insane, DK.
I think it's going to be difficult the way he'd have to hit on a lot. Like Maddie has to take the bump. Pierre Brooks has to take the bump. Akins has to be a first. Like so much has to go right. You got to retain Malik Hall. You have to land Xavier Booker. Like there's a lot that has to go right in the next few years. But I don't know how long he has left, so it's difficult for me to say. If he's going to be here for another 7 to 8, am I going to say he absolutely can't do it? No. But if his window is shortening and you're asking me in the next 2 to 3 years if he's going to be able to get over the top, it would a lot of things would have to go right for that to happen.
My answer fits DK. The reason I say yes is because it's the NCAA tournament. Like we've seen, it's how many games you got to win to get to the national championship?
Like UNC is a good example this year. I know that they had some talent on the roster, but basically Caleb Love kind of just went crazy and Baycott just manned down the middle and they made a run to the national championship game.
Right. I'm not saying we have a guy like that. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, DK. I'm not saying we have a guy like that, but I'm saying like runs like that happen. Like St. Peter's this year made an Elite Eight. Like stuff can happen. Like I'm not saying it's yes, like go put a bet down, but I'm saying I'm not going to completely shut the door that he could somehow win a national championship. I wouldn't shut the door on most teams, to be honest.
Okay, that's interesting. I do think that's a crazy answer, Cart. I don't know that you said yes necessarily, DK, but I felt like you were less crazy in your explanation. I just think like even if he lands the 1.5 recruits he wants a year, and I really like Jeremy Fears, and I don't think they're going to get Xavier Booker, honestly, but if they do, I really like Xavier Booker. I still think this roster as is today is so far away from that. I don't think adding those two guys puts them close to being a national championship contender. And I hear the comparison to North Carolina, just in the fact that like an 11 seed or whatever they were can make a run. But that 11 seed had guys that had NBA decisions and are coming back to school. Michigan State doesn't have that right now. They have a long way to go. And again, he left 4 scholarships open this offseason. So that's where I'm at. All right, number 5. Do you think Tom Izzo will make a Final Four before he calls it quits? Carter.
No.
Elaborate, please.
Everything that I've seen and the way we're moving doesn't make me confident that we are going to make a Final Four.
DK. I know this one's going to hurt DK if he says the 2-letter N word here.
Yeah. I think he finds a way to get to one more Final Four before he retires. I do. I just don't know when that's going to be.
If I asked you the over under being 2.5 years, then I assume you'd say the over. I know we're not thinking Final Four next season based on where they're at right now.
No, I'm not thinking Final Four next season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd say he'd have to put the team together in 2 seasons from now.
Got it. Interesting. Okay. Number 6, 5 left here. Number 6. Do you think Tom Izzo right now at this moment on Sunday, May 22nd at 10:04 p.m. Eastern knows when he is done as a head coach at Michigan State? Carter?
No.
Really?
No.
Both of you say no. Really?
No, I don't think he knows when he's going to be done. I think it's going to be end of the season and he's just going to leave like Roy Williams did. I think he's going to make a decision. He's going to be done. I don't expect him to announce it before. It's not who he is. I think he's going to eventually hit a point where he's done and he's just going to hang it up.
Yeah. You know how you talk about fan breaking point? I think same thing is going to happen with Izzo. He's going to reach his breaking point and he's gonna be like, I'm done with this.
I like that. How many years does Steven Izzo have left? Is it 1 or 2?
He's already graduated. This is his last year, technically.
So 1 season left?
His senior. Yep.
Can I go my conspiracy mode real quick, Cart? I know we had a timer on this game, but can I go my conspiracy mode real quick?
Sure, man. I'm just sick because my dog's probably been barking at a bag that's outside this whole time. But go ahead. Sorry.
I thought it was on brand for the Spartan Dog episode. Woof woof. So I think he knows when he's done. I think he might be done after this season. I know he's on Fears and Booker, and we all like those 2 guys. I think that the timing of Dwayne Stevens going to Western now, when he had been rumored for that job plenty of times before, should signal to everyone some smoke here. I think that Izzo wanted to prop him up just to have a little head coaching experience if he's done either 1 to 2 years from now. I don't think he's here more than 2 seasons, but I think there's at least a 40% chance he's done after this incoming season. Also, Dwayne Stevens can go 12-18 this year and look like a success at that program right now. And I think he wants to prop his guy up. That's my theory. We'll revisit that in a little bit. But I think he knows when he's done. Number 7, do you think Tom Izzo knows who his replacement is? Is a good follow-up to that. I do with my conspiracy. I think he's going to go full-on promotional campaign. Dwayne Stevens is the next head coach. DK, you go first on this one.
I think that the candidacy list is going to be between Dwayne Stevens and Drew Valentine. I guess we'll have to see the timing of the retirement versus, Drew potentially getting another gig and seeing how that goes. I will say this, that I think that the longer Alan Haller is in power, as Justin Thin has said previously, I think the more autonomy he's going to have in making that next decision. There's no doubt in my mind that Tom Izzo is going to have a large say in who he wants to follow him. But I do think that the power that is being generated by the football program and subsequently is being given to Alan Haller from that hire, from the Mel Tucker hire, that's going to create a little bit of change in the power structure of the university as a whole. So while Izzo is going to have some say, I think that there's going to be some guys having to sign off on that. And I think that that there's going to be a lot more politicking behind just Tom Izzo anointing somebody. So I disagree with the conspiracy. I think that there's going to be some people in power who are going to back Drew Valentine, and it's going to be a 2-horse race, in my opinion, between those 2 guys.
Cart?
Yeah, I agree with DK. I don't think the successor's picked, but I think the list is already set. That I don't think it's going to change. Like he said, moving forward, I think it's down to that 2 or 3. I think there will be a third person in there. I'm not sure who exactly going to be, or it's the name slipping my mind right now, but that list is set for sure.
Interesting. Okay. My only pushback there would be, I think Izzo, the same way everyone publicly seems to say he can't go into the season without adding someone. And now Tom is sitting back and saying, well, yeah, I can. I think that might happen with Wayne Stevens. I think there's going to be a lot of people saying, well, he can't really rule out Drew Valentine. And I know it's not his decision 1 for 1, but I think we're underestimating how influential he will be when that time comes and what has already been put in motion with my conspiracy theory here. 3 left. Number 8. This is an open-ended question. Cart, you're going first. How much can Tom Izzo hurt his legacy from now until the day he retires? To you.
Like how much, like just you need a number, or just like how much he can do it?
Just an explanation, I guess. Again, I went through the 4 guys earlier, right? The Coach K, Jay Wright, Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim. I would say Jim Boeheim has sort of ruined his legacy to fans and to college basketball people at large. I don't think Tom Izzo is there yet, but in my mind, I think he could get there.
Yeah, I think he can get there too. This is what I'll say. I don't think that this sounds right in my head, but it might sound bad coming out. I don't think he can necessarily improve his legacy. I think he can solidify his legacy with another, run in the tournament. I think that would solidify it, but it could get a whole lot worse. He could ruin his legacy to a certain, or he could definitely tarnish his legacy if he continues on the path that he's on. And let's say he misses the tournament or something, that would tarnish it. Yes, to me.
DK?
I think there is a possibility to have a bad taste at the finish, but I think if you even kind of look at the way D'Antonio finished, which was poor, we look on those years a lot more favorably because the next hire worked out. So I think it's difficult to say exactly how we'll feel about it, depending on the transition and the way that the program pivots. Because if it's a seamless transition and it ends up working out the next hire, and we continue to win at a high level again, I think that he'll be remembered a lot more fondly as the guy that basically built the program. Not that he won't still, but I do think if he continues on this for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, it just depends on how long it goes. If he hangs it up in a couple of years, I think it's still pretty rock solid. But if it continues on and we just basically fall to a middling team in the Big Ten, I do think that there is some tarnishment on it.
I love your point about how the next guy will change how we view that. I think you're 100% right. I also just will add to this discussion. I think I sent this to Card the other day, but more time has elapsed between Tom Izzo's national title and now than the 1979 Magic Johnson national title and Tom Izzo's first national title.
Both your past 2 coaches don't have one, so shut up.
I'm just saying.
If you don't have one, don't come to the table.
Number 9. What is the % chance that Michigan State makes the NCAA tournament this season? Now, I'm going to throw this out there. Before you answer. Carter and I were sent that text word for word from a current Division I head coach. Not naming names. It might not be who people think it is. But what is the % chance Michigan State makes the tournament? Carter?
70.
I like that. 65, 70. I'd be pretty surprised. It would basically, they'd have to get injured in the wrong position. So it's possible, but they would have to sustain some injuries.
I think my answer was, what was my answer, Cart, when I said, did I say
30?
No, it was miss, wasn't it?
You said 30 that they.
But when it was posed to us, it was what were the odds they missed the tournament? And I said 30, I think. And you said.
Oh, I thought it was make, but either here or there.
I think 70 feels right to me because of how down the Big Ten is. I think if it was a little stronger, I'd be a little more worried.
If this was last year's Big Ten and this was this team rolling into it, I'd be pretty worried about it. I won't lie. But I think the conference, again, like we briefly touched on, there's no surefire team for me in this conference this year. I think again, 5 to 6 teams. That's what I see it this year. I'd be surprised if any more.
Yeah, the 3 of us will do a lot more conference stuff leading up to the season, I'm sure. Final question.
Greg, I'm looking at the text right now, and you said 30% chance that they make the tournament.
That's me being very drunk in Nashville.
30% is 30% is solely because Izzo might be able to make the tournament with 5 guys off the street and the Big Ten kind of stinks. And I proceeded to say, stop, Greg. That is so disrespectful. How dare you?
You know what? I'm going to double down. Fine. I'm going to double down with drunk Greg's take here. That's correct. First of all, I praised Izzo in that. I stand by that. Izzo could probably take the 3 of us and 2 guards from Planet Fitness to the NCAA tournament any given year. He's going to split with Michigan no matter how good Michigan is. I'll tell you that right now. They're going 1-1 next season, no matter how bad one team is and one is good. Unless Michigan's the one that's bad and State's the one that's good, then they'll sweep them. Tom Izzo's that good of an in-game coach. He's that bad of a roster manager right now. And I also like Cart just decides to get out of that video while I'm going on that spiel. Thank you, Cart.
I was taking care of the dog, I think.
He is. But, dogs always taking care of each other, man. I'm just trying to get something clippable for the socials here, going on a little bar here and can't even do it.
Just cut his film out. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I want to spend all day tomorrow on. Number 10, the final question. I do want Cart to make sure can you hear us still? Are you good to hear? Thumbs up?
Yeah, straight up my laptop. I just noticed it wasn't plugged in. I caught it at 2%. It was about to completely die.
Look at that.
Wow. Is that a motif for Michigan State basketball as a program? It's on this very last bar.
Next question. I hate you.
Number 10, final question. And I want you to be honest. I want both of you to be honest with me on this.
I never lie on this podcast. Go.
This one's going to make you want to lie. I want you both to be honest. Would you rather, if I gave you 2 options right now, a 2-way street, you can turn left or right. Left, you have 10 more seasons of Tom Izzo. You have to sign up for it right now. He's the head coach through 2032. Or Tom Izzo retires surprisingly out of nowhere tomorrow. John Beilein to the Cavs style. Says, I'm done. I'm hanging it up. I'm moving to the Upper Peninsula. Which path are you taking? Carter, go first.
Retirement.
Please elaborate. I want to build suspense for DK's answer here as well, but please elaborate.
Everything that I've seen moving forward in the forecast of how Tom Izzo is going to operate, I'd rather take my chances with somebody else instead of this for 10 years. It's little like Tom Izzo takes the approach of all in on plan A. I'm over here weighing, some options, doing some forecasting on I don't want to get my chart out, but you know how I feel about charts. So yeah, I'd rather bank on somebody else. Unfortunately,
you're all in on plan B. Izzo's in on plan A and you're all in on plan B.
Yeah, if you want to say that, yes.
Okay. DK, the moment of truth.
Yeah, this depends on who the coach is after him. Again, that would change my perspective of what. If you're telling me that 10 years from now, we got like a great coach changed out, or we run into a situation where he retires and we get Dwayne Stevens, and my choice is that or Drew Valentine, like that to me is the whole thing. Like if I could choose, if you're telling me I get to choose the next head coach and he retires or he spends the next 10 years.
Can't do that.
Then I don't know how to answer.
I'd like to interject. I got to interview Dwayne Stevens. He won me over. And I know that's a personal thing. You talk to the guy, you get the charm, all that happened. But I'm not convinced Dwayne Stevens is just a watered down Tom Izzo at this point. Like he was talking about shit he wants to do differently and philosophically believes is different. I didn't expect that.
I guess I just don't know, right? Because he hasn't spoken the entire time that he's been at Michigan State, and now he's got a new job, and it's not one in which we can really evaluate him, like you've said. So I don't know. The thing is, you're going to just clip this, and then it's going to get twisted, and I don't want you to be honest.
We don't lie to the people on this program.
I really want to answer this one. I feel like I'm just going to sit out on this. I'd like to know the two of you guys' perspective, but.
Oh, boo.
Come on. Didn't let me do my hypothetical to be able to choose the next coach, so I don't know how I feel about that.
If I let you choose the hypothetical next coach?
Ask me next year ask me the same question next year, and I will answer to the best of my ability fully. Yeah. But I can't do it this season. I just got to see what this looks like. I'm just dying to know what this looks like. Whatever it is, it's going to be fascinating. This experiment that he's going to be on is going to be fascinating.
DK, that's not how sales works, man. When the manager calls you in, he's like, I need a forecast, and you give him I don't know. I got to see how. No, it ain't how things go. You got to let me know where you're at. You got to need an answer.
Look, first of all, that was just the very charming David Klein way of avoiding the "Are you at the breaking point?" question, which I know.
Yeah,
I know
that's exactly right. You reworded the question. I have had some experience in deposition.
That's not true.
This was the same question that you previously asked. You just worded
That's
it
not
differently.
true.
Yes, sir. My client objects.
Breaking point would mean you're both ready. You want him gone, man. And I'm telling you, that moment's coming. I'm telling everyone that's listening to this, that moment's coming. But this is a nice, like 10 more years or no more years. And I think deep down, again, people listening to this should side on the no more year side of this, whether it's Dwayne Stevens or whether it's Drew Valentine. Your coach is going to play with 9 players because he wants to keep 9 players happy. That's it. That's all he wants to do. And look, if this team wins the Big Ten, clip everything you have on me in the last 24 months. Make fun of me. I'll give you all the power in the world to anyone listening to this to just come to my doorstep and throw beer in my face and tell me I'm an idiot. It's not going to happen.
You do know in the 3 years since Juwan Howard's picked it up that Michigan State and them have basically had very close to concurrent runs. I get that they made a Sweet 16 last year, but they have what, an 8th place finish and 8th place finish in the first place. We're first 7-7, right?
We're comparing runs of a program that's made 7 straight Sweet 16s versus one that's missed. How many?
Well, that's nice. I mean, that's
that
nice.
Coach made how many
the COVID year out of it.
That coach's team was so good that he quit on your
hang
team.
the banner. Hopefully they hang that banner. 7 straight Sweet 16s.
He quit on your team to go to the NBA to be.
By the way,
for being racist.
We don't hang banners for March success. We print the T-shirts that say Mr. March. You guys taught us that, right? That's where we're at. Look, and by the way, I do want to be extremely clear. Again, I still believe Tom Izzo is a top 5 in-game coach in the world. He could literally drag the 3 of us into anybody's to beating Michigan. I believe that wholeheartedly. I'm not disputing that. The roster management, roster building part of this is where he's going to lose in this era. That's where I'm at. So
this is fair.
Well, thank you. We had to get the banter in at the end. I appreciate that. DK, what's going on with Spartan Hoops these days? Anything new we can promote? Anything?
I'm cooking up an article on the guards as we speak. It's probably the position group that I'm most comfortable with heading into the season. I've been doing a deep dive into some of the film, some of the synergy stats, all the rest of it. I'm hoping I'll have that out sometime this week because it's been a little while since I've dropped something. So it's about halfway done. I'm hopefully having some encouraging news for this position group, and maybe Carter will be a little bit happy after he reads it. So we'll see.
Carter's happiness is top priority of everybody on this Zoom call. So I'm rooting for that. You good, my friend?
You guys want to hear a voice note that I made the other day?
Sure.
Hold on. He's just an athletic DK, isn't he? Carson Cooper is just an athletic DK, isn't he?
I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or you're just like chopping me at the knees in my old age. I don't know.
That literally that's a compliment to you.
I hope Carson Cooper changes his Twitter handle to SpartanHoops_CC. Cart, thank you for sharing that. We appreciate you. DK, thank you for being here. Like, follow, subscribe at Sleepers Media. And I promise, if this does turn around, I won't run from this, folks.
It's still go green, go white until I die, just so you know. And it's on this season, by the way. Like, we're rolling out there. What are we? The Iron 9, the Fighting 9, the Strong 9.
We're gonna have to come up with a name. It's gotta be a name for sure.
Throw up the 9s. We're here. Let's ride. You don't want to see us. I guarantee we're breaking that 9 in the Chrysler. We're coming with smoke. Come on.